Hi everyone, today's date's the 15th of February 2025, and today I will be denouncing public deception once again, but before I do that I'm going to just do a quick introduction before I get onto my topic. So welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton and I'm the narrator of my video clips on my YouTube channel. Okay, so the topic I will be keeping in the moment is me and Henry's current situation. We are definitely still in a romantic relationship, but we both agreed that I would be the one that would be doing the public denouncing public deception. The reason for that is because of my applications and my court case, and for those that are actually watching everything I'm doing on social media and watching everything about Henry on social media. But I have to also confirm that he is actually not on Facebook. Henry's not on any social media platform. He's not contacting or texting anyone secretly other than just me and him having our conversations. And I talk to him every single day, sometimes night. So you can take my word for it. He's not actually talking secretly to anyone outside his bubble at this stage because of his situation. And nobody in public actually knows where he is. So we are doing this to denounce any deception that comes my way on publicly for the sake of everyone else that is watching me and following me on social media. Okay, so bear in mind it's a Commonwealth game and it is a global game. I mean, I can't say that I actually can confirm this back in 2010, but it does confirm everything that I've gone through, that I know that it definitely was, meaning my situation today is no different to what I went through in 2010. It's just they're using different people all the time and just using the same tactics of relationship scam. But I am kind of twinned and glued to these women or their alliance. Okay, so they are actually glued to everything I'm doing. They're glued, they can hear my voice, they're listening, they're watching, and they are monitoring me like a compass, and they're like listening to everything I'm saying, and then they're doing the opposite. So like I'll say all these positive things, and then the next day something else comes up and it's quite opposite. It's like a undermining tactic, but no one should be that close to anybody, okay? But I'm just saying what's happened to me is absolutely illegal. It's a Commonwealth game, illegally and globally and historically, but they are stealing and they're switching and diverting my energy to somebody else, okay? Okay, so it is definitely trafficking in persons case. You see here I've got you can see for yourself that the penalty is 20 years imprisonment once these people are charged for trafficking. And the other thing that I have found is that the person like Henry is in a situation too that without a shadow of doubt, he is being set up. He's being micromanaged. I'm being micromanaged. So it becomes like the opposing allies who are micromanaging both of us are glued to everything we're doing. So, and then if they are also interpreting it in their own belief, and then tipping these other women or men of what we're doing or saying, and a lot of it, and then they're creating evidence and deception publicly. Okay, so I have found you will go through sabotage. They will impede rescue. It's so black and white what they've done to me and what they've done to Henry. All right, so I'm stuck in a love triangle. He's not in a relationship with anyone else. At this stage, he's very private. He's not secretly seeing any women, and he is not secretly texting or giving anyone permission. And if you're watching my last clip, I denounced the video clip about Natalie and a double being used. There was a PR stunt, and that was very upsetting for myself and Henry, especially when, you know, he never gave permission. He is not in any contract with anyone, you know, with his work, or he's not in contract or in contact with anybody. But people are actually just making up their own thing on the surface. So he was pretty upset when those videos came out, and that's the reason why I had to denounce it, because of the deception, linking to my court cases and linking to the government. Now, I'm just gonna continue. Okay, so behind what I'm going through, people have used me for relationship scams. So I've been used for that, definitely used for that. And this is where they are setting up younger females to try and attract, the other men. The danger is that these women are actually groomed. These women are actually on behalf of somebody else. The thing is, you don't know who they are. It could be somebody out just trying to, get into your space just to be an informant. So that's the danger if you do relationship scams. If you're not aware of the danger of putting your guard down to the wrong person. But behind these women are definitely extremists or gangs, or just cultures and cults, who may have other ideas or plans for you, but they just need their foot in the door, and they do use relationship scams, and they do force. These women are groomed. They appear to be all that on the surface, but I've had that problem with the men too. I've noticed that too, but they're actually carrying out somebody else's plans, and they are actually being an informant. They're not actually real with you. You just know that they're not actually real, and they're actually very good at lying and very good at acting. Okay, so my case definitely falls in category 4, and it's a crimes against humanity, because I can now clearly prove in the court of law that they've used me for games, money laundering, relationship scams, and other serious violent offences. But I am definitely being locked out, blocked out, black market, blacklisted, you name it. But the best way to describe what I've gone through is, if you look at this here, I put this movie here. It's actually a really good movie if you want to go have a look at it. It's called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. What he is actually going through is the guy there, but the little boy behind there. You'll get the picture. But being locked out is like what I'm going through, where nothing works. I'm being discriminated. I'm blacklisted. They know it's me. Somebody else has already made a decision what's going to happen to me. And I do know who's behind it, by the way, in regards to me. But it's a global game, and all they're doing is coding and people are just are actually acting on the coding. Okay, their people are moving on the coding, and they're sending out their hitmans or their people to do something, either to stop or hits. And the other way to actually explain what I've gone through is this program here. If you watch it, it's called The Hunger Games. It's actually a really good game to actually describe what I'm going through, where there is no laws and real people do get killed, right? That's how it feels like, and that's how it feels, my experience, where I have watched some good people go missing, or I knew that it's not going to be good for them, and it hasn't. But Hunger Games is the best way to explain what it's like being locked out like I have. So you can be actually locked out in your own home. You could, like anyone in New Zealand can be locked out, okay? and the whole idea of the game is they're playing mind games and they're playing on your emotions. What they've done to me, they've been that intimate, they've seen me go high and happy, and then they take it away. So, but there's a consistency pattern of intentional pain and suffering, or them just slowly taking everything away from me, and then they just watch the people, whoever they're watching. They're watching you. They're watching your emotions. They're watching your reactions. It can get quite cruel at times, and it has quite cruel. There's definitely real cruel acts of omissions, intentional hurt, pain and suffering, torment, mental injury. The pain is intentional to get you depressed and to get you into a mindset of anxiety and panic. All those things do take place, but I'm a very self-controlled person emotionally. I always have been. I'm one of these people who don't wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I'm that sound in my own thinking that I'm not a panicky person either. So, but I have reacted because I am the aggrieved victim, because people are intentionally taking things away from me and hurting me. So I feel the abuse is to get a provocation, or to provoke an act from me. The rejection and everything. It's intentional to humiliate and to hurt myself, and to get a public reaction under the camera. So those are the kind of things that I have suffered because of what this game has done to me. But they have coded people, so it means that anybody in your family could go through this along down the line, anytime, because of the coding and the technologies. But I am a blocked out person, and Henry's in the same situation too. And the game actually involves a lot of money, obviously, and people, a lot of it is because of reputation, and money is definitely involved. And in my case, they don't want to compensate me, but I am worth a lot of money. But I have also found that they've actually used me for money laundering, stolen what is rightfully mine legally, and then use my identity and live off the money and pay. Everyone gets a bit of portion, this and that, and then they all live off the money that they've stolen. And that's what, for a good example, that's why I denounced that video in my last clip with Natalie, and that double pretending to be Henry, and then her pretending, that's quite bad, so but that is what these substitutes are doing, or animate, or in anime is what the criminal word is. These people are living your life, and this is where these ladies come in, and other ladies that come in my space. They're stealing. The ads are so obvious on the radio. I know when they're talking about me and hinting to everyone to steal, and they literally are stealing. I'll just quickly go over the law while I'm at it before I go carry on. So my case would come under category 4, war crimes. So these opposing allies, they seem to be taking their turn abusing me, taking their turn stealing, taking their turn doing what they're doing, and to them it's a real game, and it's a real warlike game, and there's been a lot of loss in the process. On my part, and division is caused, and separation is caused in your family, and but it is like a war crimes, because the opposing allies are they're using their jobs, they're coding people, and then they're stealing, they're sabotaging. They actually mean business about destroying your reputation, defamation, smear campaigns. The hits are real, and the stealing is real, and there's a good chance that more people will get murdered if they're not aware, or the government is not aware of what's going on, or do something about it. So my case definitely falls in crimes against humanity. So all these women, they can all be charged with their alliances, when the right people investigate, and if you all get caught out, you will be charged, for conspiracy to commit a crime. But mine is definitely crimes against humanity, because they've locked themselves into my soul, and then they've basically just used me, like stolen everything good that I do, stealing my idea, stealing my life. And I think they have the same idea again to do that with what's going on with Henry and myself. Unfortunately, this is the reality of what's going outside of our world. If you live in your own bubble and in your own community, unfortunately, the world is not like it used to be. But this is a real new age system involving technology, and they can attack anybody at any time. Okay, I've been forced and locked into all this by force, and I'm just using the legal system to try and get myself out of it. Okay, so the game involves Game of Thrones. So some cultures and religions are using the Game of Thrones system with everyone's got to have a king and a queen, and that's where the relationship comes in. Henry's quite prominent in his own world. He's quite famous as an actor, so all the other women want to be his queen. But they're breaking the law and got the help of an alliance to try and force themselves or paint them like a better picture for the public to help them. And this is where the Game of Thrones come in. Unfortunately, I believe that's what happened while I was working for the Ministry of Justice. It shouldn't have been, but it did. But it was consistent with the criminal harassment that I was going through 24/7 and everything else, the evidence on my profile. So unfortunately, if you're within the government and you're working in the courts, because that's where I was working, if you're caught up in corruption, you are definitely liable for criminal offences if you're caught up in it, and you can't lie. But that's why we have laws, is not to have these kind of corruption happening in the government. So the whole idea is integrity, that no one is. I mean, I've worked for the government for total 17 and a half years, right? So it is possible to have a government or a system that is purely just integrity, and there's none of this Mickey Mouse game going on. It's possible. People think it's not, but it is. But the individual that is exploited, and when I was working, I was definitely exploited. Okay, so unfortunately, it does fall on those within my environment who have failed the system and didn't do anything about it. Instead, they just left me in there, and I'm actually really grateful that I did what I did and left a trail of evidence, because people use you and then they disappear. Okay, at the end of the day, people only care about themselves. They don't really care about you. I didn't think my opposing allies didn't realise, that I actually am not mentally retarded, and that I actually am very competent in what I do and what I know. Okay, so we definitely I'm denouncing all the other videos. One of the videos that's come to light for the sake of my applications, my court case, and for sake of everyone else watching. So I do recommend you watch these programs, because they actually explain basically what it's like being locked out, blacklisted, and I have to say, I feel like I'm on a death row. Okay, but it's a global game, and the relationships, this game is definitely reliant on relationship infidelity. So if you're going to play games, it just pays not to, because this global alliance sport, it does involve a lot of deception, and it's really easy to confuse the original. Like, the originals are the ones that are maybe the targeted one, and if they can be easily, they can be easily be used, and then walk into a trap, and then these women will just use you and then leave. So I have found people have used me and abandoned me, and at the end of the day I've had to just try and pick up the pieces and go forward. But I'm glad I've done everything right. uh, so now I can actually contest everything, and I have a very strong case. So I'm just using this as an example. I'm being used for a pecuniary advantage, and we've got imposters, then we've got crimes against humanity. These secret societies can be anybody, and they come out when I'm by myself, and they're very obvious. And they are duplicating myself for the purpose to deviate and steal. They're not there because they like you or love you. They're there because they don't have a good intent. And no one should actually be doing that without without you knowing why. So, I've had people come in my space, and then they've behaved like they have, and I'm like, why are you guys doing that? But I just know they shouldn't be doing it. So yeah, I just know when something is natural and when something is not.
Right? He wants to, right?
I'll go back to here. Where's that? And I think I'm finished. Uh, um, um, I think I'll finish it with this one, I think.